Welcome everyone to our next low code. We can see we've got some special guests, which I'm going to ask Stephen and or Belinda to introduce. And we've said for a while, like with low code, that we want. Oh, well, actually, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, didn't we? That we're ready to start introducing new people, projects, concepts, and see where things unfold. So I'm really excited to be doing that today. So yes, Stephen and Belinda, do you want to tell us, or Belinda, do you want to tell us a little bit about your guests, and then from the intro, I'll kind of listen and we'll see where things unfold from there.
Stephen, you're up.
He knows our better.
And I was trying to stay quiet. Right, David.
Sorry, I'm just.
We on?
Yeah, we're on. Go for it.
Okay, right. Well, special guest today, Manu, and who lives in Crystal Waters in Australia, and Sabine, who I've been working with for probably 4 or 5 years on an idea that Sabine started germinating, which is how do you actually put into practice all the things that you've learned about collaborative living. And if I remember correctly, Sabine, going back to Berlin in the 60s, yes. When experimentation was rife. All of those experiences. And all of those experiences then pulled together, and Sabine was looking, well, how do you actually bring back community living on a practical level with specific emphasis on women who are very vulnerable, in particular in Australia, with all the economic changes. And then I've got invited to a group that were actually looking at taking that a little bit further in Crystal Waters, and I'll let Sabine explain Crystal Waters, but it's a permaculture village, been around 30 years. I've been familiar with it for 20. And so I was asked to come along and just do some initial work of helping with my methodology, look at some of the problems that they saw they needed as a community. But if they built it, because Manu was playing around with code on Holochain at that time for ages, and looking to see, well, if you could build some Holochain examples, could you actually build something and use Crystal Waters and test something that would actually impact globally? And we focused on people who lived, who were cooperative members worldwide, people who are moving into the new shared economy, and others who are trying to look at collaborative, cooperative, mutuality in the digital world. And what we found is that the experience for those people worldwide is their life experience is heading down rapidly. It's serious in terms of the impact of everything that's occurring, and yet the potential for collaborative behavior is huge. And I think what we really sort of where we got to in that initial work is that we have to start somewhere and actually do incremental stages of developing value, alleviating real meaningful pain, day-to-day pain and problems, and then building up capacity, both in terms of currencies as we understand them, and capital, human capital, financial capital, social capital. And so that's where we're up to. So what I'd like you to do is, well, Belinda, do you have any other comment? Because Belinda's been at Crystal Waters as well.
Yeah, I want to hear from Sabine and Manu about some of the problems and pain that they are aware of in this scenario, because I think that'll be instructive for a whole lot of people who are in the Holochain ecosystem who are interested in this problem.
Do you want to go, Manu, or do you want me to take over?
Well, yeah, I can start.
Yes.
So yeah, we did this work with Stephen, and we haven't totally finished, but we don't have much to go. And we identified a few issues that's going to come towards this community. And we think that a digital platform could help the community better organize and pretty much optimize what we're already doing. We have governance. We have here there are 250 people living in Crystal Waters. It's a permaculture village. So it's working, but many things are hard, and it's mainly based on volunteers and low-paid part-time jobs. So it's hard to find a balance in the financial side, and it's also hard to motivate people to volunteer all the time and to not have all the time the same people that volunteer and the rest doesn't really see what's being doing. So there's a problem with visibility of the volunteers and how this can be shown to the whole community, maybe with a dashboard or things like that, and maybe with complementary currencies that could reward the people who are volunteering, and those currencies could be used in the internal economy of Crystal Waters. And maybe after that, it could be expanded to, the villages around and a small perimeter around to have more people in this economy. So we're looking at all the issues that we have here, and how a digital platform could help us to optimize pretty much and make visible things that are not visible at the moment, and people can't see really what's going on because it's a small community, but it's big enough to not know everybody, and it's hard for everybody to be heard in 250 people.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you probably remember, I don't know, Belinda, but for me, the problem started as well when I realized how much pain is coming towards our community, that I saw the development that small 𝐀𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐻 has gone through, and Crystal Waters as well, where we get more and more people being forced out of the area due to, unaffordable rents. And, the scenario sort of occurs as well. Very often I visit, I sort of experience that around the world, that some certain people create a really beautiful, cooperative, wonderful community, and then more and more rich people get attracted to move in there, but then they're pushing the original people out. And that's happening on a big scale here in 𝐀𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐻. But having said all of that, we do have the problems in Crystal Waters where we're looking at, and that's actually why I love Crystal Waters at that, because it's not an intentional community as such. It's like a real example of life. Like you have people from all sorts of life living there, and not everybody agrees on things. And very often, there's problems, and they need to be overcome, and to unite the people again, like Manu said, like lots of volunteers that give everything, and then a lot of people just take, and so that creates problems. But having said all of that, I'm still quite excited because Crystal Waters here, and like Manu mentioned before, 𝐀𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐻 as well, and Cordoba and the surrounding areas we have here, they are overall very cooperative minded. And I'm pretty sure that, like, if you come along, and a lot of people here in 𝐀𝐿𝐴𝐻 talk about that, like there's lots of talks. We had a local currency here with the banyas and the LED system, and that didn't quite work out. But today I can see, with the help of the IT platforms or apps we could use, and the currency we could create, that there's a real great opportunity in this area here.
Okay, super. Oh, sorry, Belinda, you want to jump in there?
Well, I wanted to say thank you. And I've just been watching Guillem, who looks like he's about to jump out of his seat. I have a feeling that maybe there's something that he wants to say.
I'm sorry, my audio, like they're doing some reparations on the next door, so I hope it's okay. So no, mainly I was like a bit resonating with the pain, or like seeing things that are also happening here, like people being pushed out of their towns due to rents. These kinds of issues are happening here as well, and yeah, it's a bit horrible to see. But I love the way that you are presenting it, and I love the opportunity to be able to help communities like yours, and yeah, this feels really alive. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, so thanks so much for the intro. And so I guess I'm a little bit guided by you guys, Steve and Belinda, in terms of, and Manu and Sabine, in terms of your work together. But and I'm imagining this is the start of a series of explorations that we're going to be doing together in this way. So yeah, where would you guys like to start in the load code context? Is it something in particular, that a particular problem that you're like, a specific small problem you want to solve, or a particular type of technology you want to look at, or yeah, how do you want to approach the next little bit?
If I just when we just got to the point where we saw the magnitude of the problems, because we mapped the sentiment. So people in a post-COVID environment are shifting from anxious to fearful, and then as soon as we start seeing job automation and globalization, that's going to and just in Australia, as we're seeing already in the UK, that you get sick, so a family gets sick, the children get sick. The impact is real now, because the gap there, you can't afford the gap, so you're not going to get treatment, or you've got cancer, but it means you're not going to, the wait list is longer than your prognosis, so you die. Okay, this is all the stuff we looked at. So that sentiment we saw and where that's going. So unless we could actually get it, and then it was like the resources. Now, they are very resourceful at Crystal. They've just got fiber optic 1 gig that they're delivering to the home. And it was Manu then, it was like, right, Manu, are you going to build all this stuff for us for free? Get the whip out and get him and the other guys coding away. And so when I mentioned there was low code, what Belinda had set in motion, and so I've been updating everybody. It was like, so it was Manu, what's all the things that you would love to do that you've been looking at, and bearing in mind what I've told you only a little bit about what Guillem was putting together and others in terms of creating my very bad definition of that. Where this now presents you with the possibility that Sabine can get her apps. So where are you going to start? And what does low code mean to you? What's it actually going to really practically mean if Belinda's vision gets realized here?
Yeah, so I've been I'm myself a developer, but a web developer, so I'm not an app developer. It's a bit more complicated, but I did the Holochain hackathon 2 years ago in 2019, and also the currency design workshop with Commons Engine. So I did a hackathon, and it was very interesting to get behind the curtain, but it is very complex. It's pretty high level of programming for me. So having a low-code environment will enable us to create this app without having to go too low in the development skills. And that could really make it possible, because otherwise we would have to get a Holochain developer and pay him for a while, and I'm sure there's not many around first, and we don't really have the finance for that. So we might need some development at some point, but if we have a local environment, we could really go ahead and start to implement a few features that we want in this app. And one of the first things we want to focus around is the co-op, so the cooperative that looks after the social life of Crystal Waters, and we'd like to bring that to the members so they can better communicate. We can better communicate with them, and we can better work together, and maybe have a a complementary currency that could also help us in what we want to do.
So I heard at least 3 capabilities there, which is communication, what I would call collaboration, so that thing about kind of coordinating a group of people,
Exactly.
And I'm going to think of new capabilities as I go through, and then some kind of visualization of the results of that activity.
Exactly.
So there's possibly some voting in there, and then visualization of the results of voting.
Yes.
And then currency. Currency creation, banking, exchange.
We looked at a few. We looked at a few different options for complementary currencies that actually different models that are interesting to us. I think Holochain is developing a mutual credit system, which is one of the things that we're interested into. But then it could be like several complementary currencies that serve a different purpose in the community.
Just a point on there is that,
sorry. Also in the currency part, we'd like to have maybe a payment system, because we have a problem with cash payments in the community. People only take cash, but we don't have an ATM. We don't really want to rent an ATM. So most of the time, it's really hard to actually get cash. You have to travel 30 minutes to go to the next town. So if we could have a payment system that could allow us to do contactless payments, things like that, that would be helpful.
And what I should say is that what Manu's been looking at as well is that they've got I think it's a volunteer who came over back from the States who've got an interconnecting point into backbone fiber. So you're busy bearing fiber door to door, but what Manu was looking at was then a hollow host mechanism, so you could actually create a complete network locally.
Yes.
And also then look to see how it's possible to use that currency within broadband as being a part of that barter system. Is that correct? Was I remember that right?
Possibly. So the thing is that in Australia, it's very hard to have a good internet speed for some political reasons. And now in coastal waters, it's happening right now. We're gonna have one of the fastest internet in rural areas in Australia. So that also enables us to do things differently from what we could do before. And yes, we are interested in hosting hollow ports to be part of the network and support it.
Yeah, that makes complete sense, doesn't it? Around the community hosting network. Okay, so so we've got communication collateral. I just wanted to use C's. Communication, collaboration, currency, payments, and community hosting. So should we choose to focus on one for now? Like which one? What would make the biggest difference? Belinda's shaking her head.
Yeah, the collaboration might
collaboration
priority one, but I don't know what Guillem can say about what module exists already, what looks the most difficult or the easiest to start with.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking about that. So just to give you an idea, so Holochain development is been going for a while, but it's not so it's not so much time since the newest version, which is RSM, has come out. That means that there are some things built, but most of the things are getting rebuilt and ported out and reconstructed. So you will find a lot of things under construction. Okay. But disclaimer put, we'll already have elemental chat, and we could readapt that. So a chat application. We also have a mutual credit module that's not complete, but it works. Like right now, it's not secure and so on, but it plug and play, it works. We have 𝐀𝐻𝐿 maybe in the collaboration space. 𝐀𝐻𝐿, just to give you a very brief overview, is a project management tool in which you can manage goals. So, okay, we have the goal of making our village, everyone, I don't know, everyone engaged or whatever. And that, okay, to achieve that goal, we have to achieve these 3 sub goals. And you branch out, you branch out, you branch out. So it's like a tree of goals, something like that. And we could look at readapting that also. So that's what we have. And also, if we would get more specific, I would like to know more specifically what type of collaboration mechanisms you are thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the project management is obviously something we're interested in. Also time scheduling, having like a global calendar where, you know, you can put an event and see if it's not conflicting with somebody else in the community, which is something we could do with Google, but yeah, we prefer to have it on Holochain.
Yeah, okay. There is, it's like the synergies are evident. With Victor, we are, well, it was some time we were planning to do, and at some point we will start the process, doing a resource booking module. So, okay, create a resource, and then what are the slots for the resource? I book this slot, and then just to have the management of that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in terms of collaboration, beside that, yeah, it's the communication, booking things, maybe digital documents sharing. I think you muted, Guillem.
Yeah, I know. Okay, this is private, but I think it won't be private when this comes out. So I think it's okay for me to say. So Eric Harris Brown has, which is the co-founder of Holochain, has this new project called 𝐁𝐶, which is doing that basically, which is kind of Google Docs, but not only Google Docs. You could do any real-time collaboration app. So that's going to be coming out soon. Like, I don't know exactly how soon that means that we can just put it in low code, but that's going to be something in the realm of, okay, let's try to put it there.
Okay, great. So that's open source modules that we could integrate.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
And like with Holochain, it doesn't make sense that the modules are not open source, really. In the sense that when you install an application, you are installing, there is no server that is serving you that can close the code in the sense.
Okay.
Okay,
very interesting.
Yeah.
Sabine, how does this make you feel now? You've been 4 years this has been discussing, and you've not been able to raise the capital to get this stuff built. What's it feel like?
Oh, it feels very, very good. I got a bottle of French champagne in the fridge.
Ready to go.
No, it's wonderful. And thank you for all your help, Stephen. Without you, I would never been here, and I'm so excited about it. Manu is as well, and we can see really big potential in this. And we're both happy to go ahead and work on it. And you know, probably the advantages we have here as well is that we're both quite well known in the community, and I'm living here since 30 years. So, you know, we have good connections to what I probably call the movers and shakers of the community, but as well to our local government. So, you know, I think the conditions are quite favorable for us to get this project off the ground and get it accepted and get it, like, start getting people using it. And then, you know, and then we can iron out mistakes and, you know, make it all work till probably, I don't know, in a year or 2 years' time, we will have a perfect product.
And David, just so that, and Guillem, so, you know, my contribution then switches over. So what I'll do now is go down into micro mapping the pain. What does it, and then look at it at family level, individual level, and look at, well, what's the benefit, and then measure the value impact of that benefit. And then of that value, what can we capture that can convert into currency, and what can be assets like the individual ownership of stuff, analytics, for example, that we're doing with Health Commons. But there's lots of things that we've seen that could be captured. So we start building that community capital, that community asset, which of course, if you put that into then, and what would be interesting is how do we fit that into the notion of, you know, in the financial model that you're looking at with mutual credit, and what contribution that can make. But it means that we can record it, we can validate it, so we can show even what it will have impact it'll have on the local economy, as well as, you know, the individual families. And then we've got something to talk to the rest of the world of validated value, meaningful value.
Okay, super. So Stephen, is that the next step?
In parallel. So once these guys choose what they're going to build, I get on with, I get in there and I do my geeky bit, and then Belinda keeps an eye that I'm focused on real stuff.
Okay, cool. Because I know I'm conscious of time. So the next step then, so Manu and Sabine, you guys from this conversation, you guys either independently or touching base with Stephen and Belinda are going to get really clear on what you want to build. Then when you've done that, you'll come back here and then you'll start talking about what you want to build, and Guillem will sort of like magically be architecting that in his mind as that's happening. And in the meantime, Stephen will be working on his value mapping work, which then when you're ready, you will bring back. And so you will show how the two things weave together. Superb.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to close us there. Manu, Sabine, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, David.
It was superb. And then I believe, thank you all. And I believe, Guillem, it sounds like we should be bringing Victor in separately, maybe in the next one. So we have the two threads running in parallel, because then we've got from his angle as well. And then, so not only we can follow two stories, but we can also see how they converge. Okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Great.
Thank you, Guillem.
Well done, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks. See you soon.